Hi guys!
Hey everybody.
We've got a big announcement. We've got the shirts made for it.
We've gathered you here today to talk about these things called t-shirts.
Yes. So to start this off, by the way, we're in the park.
Right overhead.
It's really noisy. It's the City of Angels, and there are a lot of angels here, so many. So it's very noisy.
So you'll have to forgive the noise quality.
Yeah, we really wanted to be outside though and talk about this really amazing vision that Wind had actually. And this was he had this a couple months ago, but then we had so many things happen in between. And so we ordered the shirts and we've been so excited to do this video. And so now we're gonna do it. So Wind had a vision about world peace, and we've talked a little bit about this before, how a large part of our mission is heaven on earth, and we discuss that all the time, but this is a really specific vision, and it was pretty profound, and it really solidified in a lot of ways the rest of our lives. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that are a part of this, just like there are a lot of people out there that are a part of the Heaven on Earth movement. So I guess without further ado, you want to talk about it? We've got so many cute dogs happening right now.
Yep, little friends. It was interesting. I had gone through a little period where I felt like I needed to channel more and bring stuff through, which was something that I hadn't really been in a strong practice of. But I have had a lot of intuitions and a lot of visions outside of channeled space, and a lot of channelings that have kind of occurred spontaneously and accidentally. But I was on a series of bringing stuff through and kind of getting accustomed to exploring the outer realms, outer knowledge, and then I felt like You've Got Mail was waiting, and so I told Allison, okay, I just feel like I need to do this again tonight. It was probably 2 weeks of 3 or 4 really big sessions, and so I went into the channel space, and I don't remember what all came before, but suddenly I started bringing through this sort of connection to the future, and it started with seeing myself basically in a very large energetic form, where basically we were in Machu Picchu, and the mountains of Machu Picchu were about to my waist as I was standing, and my energetic form was way high, and I was wearing clothes sort of assimilated, sort of kind of as if I looked like Krishna in a way, kind of like white pants and then a vest type of thing. And that then it started to kind of be a color shift and an energetic shift, and it started kind of showing me more walking as Krishna, kind of joining the Krishna consciousness, if you will. And so this is very interesting to me and very fascinating and exciting because I was so connected to it. Now, a little side note, when I get visions, they're always symbols, and I have to interpret them, and I'm very good at it. And it's kind of a twofold thing: clairvoyance, where I see things, and then clairsentience, I suppose, where I feel it, and then I just kind of take that and I make an interpretation, and I get kind of a hot or cold type of thing. And so I was getting a lot of really, really warm temperature, a lot of warm fuzzy with this, and it went into the next thing. It's kind of this convergence. Convergence started coming to me in India because of Krishna. India, Krishna, convergence, all these things were swirling around, and I started kind of piecing it together, and I'm missing a few steps here, but basically it went into this world peace convergence, 2065 time frame in India, and that we were supposed to be a part of it. And in that channeled space, I even had to think, wait a minute, is that the right time frame? Will I even be alive if I'm 45 now?
We'll be pretty old. 50 years from now. Basically, it was this feeling of we're on the countdown now,
right,
towards actual, literal world peace, and not just the feeling internally of heaven on earth, and not just individuals experiencing that, but really, truly, in our lifetime, there will be world peace, and there will be an event called the World Peace Convergence, or Convergence of some sort.
Yeah, it really was. It felt like, because I had to kind of like muscle test it, like, is it this, is it this, is it this? And really what it was World Peace Convergence. Yeah, I mean, but again, then I said, well, and then my mind stepped in and said, well, it may be called something like that, may not be called that. It may not be 2065, but it sure feels, and then I would say those things and it'd be like, nope, that's the wrong answer, don't back out of it. So it's really interesting. Now, well, I realize a lot of people have a lot of visions, and maybe they don't all collaborate. But I do know when I get visions, it's not very often, but when I get them, they're very strong.
Very accurate.
And they're very accurate. And I mean, I've been getting them since I was about 18 or 19, and they've always occurred, even when they were 20 years in the future. So the funny thing was, the extra funny thing, was that I saw first that President Obama, in about the next 20 years, will be working on the seeds that will plant this world peace convergence. He won't be around. He won't even, I mean, he would be too old anyway, but he won't be around for the 2065 big thing that seems to be a color and sound convergence of ornate colors and all the colors of the spectrum of all humanity just coming together in a mandala in India for this big thing. And Obama won't be there for that, but over the next 20 years, he will be a real world leader in making this stuff happen. Which, if you knew, if you'd ever been around for any of my former Facebook posts when I had an old account that no longer exists, you would see my complete disdain for this human being. So it's really funny that I would bring something like this through, and I know to trust it because I also know that I don't carry that sort of feeling towards him or anybody like that anymore. But it still wasn't something that I would kind of bring through. So what I saw was that he will be very, very active in making that happen, and it was kind of mind-blowing, but I was so connected to it. It was so loving, so amazing. I also saw that he'll be like the last world martyr. Like he came here to do this, and then to kind of go out in the blaze of glory as a martyr, and that will be the last big one in the world. So we'll see how these things pan out. But
there's always the chance to have that be different too.
Right.
You know, we're writing our history as we go.
Right.
And so it doesn't necessarily need to go out in a blaze of glory. It doesn't need to be a bad ending to that story. But it could be,
Right.
and it could be something that actually is what sets up the world peace. So we don't know
Right.
exactly how that's going to turn out.
Because that's what it seemed, is that it would really kind of instigate something that within 30 years after his work would really just start to gather everybody. I mean, literally the world would just start to gel together over it and be like, no more of this. We're not going to have any more of this type of way of living that we've had through these dark ages for years and years and years and years. That
No more martyrdom.
no more martyrdom.
No more war.
Right. That finally we would have this peace. Now, some people know that, from what I understand, Muslims know that Muhammad actually prophesied world peace as well. That would only last for 2 years, though, and then things would go back to the way they were. So we'll have to see how these things pan out. We've got dogs playing near us.
So, and one other thing that I think you should mention is the color, the building of color, because that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
For us personally, in terms of our sort of trajectory towards this world peace convergence,
Yeah.
there was a building of color.
It's a building of colors. It was really fantastic. It makes so much sense, even if you had to think about it logically. But that being in that channeled space, you could just really taste it, feel it, smell it, hear it. You are it. You see the convergence of colors, the colors of all the things that we embody in the world have already been going towards this focal point. And so yeah, when I saw it, but I would have never known it, I would have never thought about it. And when I saw it, like, we were told to step up our departure from Los Angeles about 6 months in advance, which is about 5 months earlier than we thought we would. We thought we were going to be here to the end of maybe March of 2016, but we were told, no, you need to go now. Get started and go to Peru, which is something we were going to do anyway. Was go to Peru at the end of our time in Los Angeles. But I was shown that we go now, and that Machu Picchu tied into that, and it was basically the colors of the native Peruvian colors and native Northern American colors, kind of the medicine wheels and the mandala type of artwork, all how they are very color centric. Maybe a white rim with blue in the middle and then some red, and all these colors kind of going towards this focal point. So it really is kind of it seems like almost everybody, even if you don't know it, you're following sort of a color pattern towards your truth.
It's getting brighter and brighter and more vibrant and more colorful.
Which is why because India has always been known to be very ornate, very colorful, and very vibrant. I mean, very bright, and just that it would it make like this is all converging, going right there into the consciousness of the most ancient text on earth about higher consciousness and spirituality and deities, right back into the Vedic, deities and the Hindu deities. That it's kind of, and I just saw, people wearing, the gold coins on our ornate Indian clothing, and that it was just everybody from our own places in the world just kind of coming together in this. It was really, really amazing. And I knew it as if I remembered it from 2 days before. Like, just this powerful concert that I just went to, still emanating through me. That's how I saw this. And so I know it's true, and I know it's all going to happen.
Yeah.
And so we would never, ever buy kind of like promotional type of t-shirts and have them made up, but this one was strong and we knew.
Yeah. So after Wynn got this information, I really wanted to get a personal experience of what he was talking about, because I absolutely trust what he was talking about and what he brought through. It was really amazing, but I also wanted to know from an experiential level what we were going into. And so I channeled about the convergence. And I got a more cosmic perspective, which makes sense because Wynn tends to bring forward an earth perspective in our relationship, and I tend to bring forward a more star-based perspective. So this word convergence is also happening in the cosmic realms. My guides were very clear in saying that we need each other. So people who are here on this earth, who are in the physical plane, need to do their work just as much, and they need us just as much as we need them. And for some reason that really struck me because I believe we have this tendency to really rely on our guides and really rely on the outer realms and say, tell us what to do, tell us what to do. We have to really reach into our mastery and reach into our higher level of being here on this earth and trust ourselves and begin making those choices that we know we need to make and begin fulfilling our life purpose, because we, having a physical perspective and a physical body, are doing work that needs to be done, that nobody else can do. And obviously we are on this countdown. It's kind of funneling in, 50 years from now, this is the timetable, peace on earth. And so also from the cosmic perspective, it seems that there is a lot of preparation happening on multiple dimensions to come to earth, to actually, and I don't know if it's physically show themselves or just make their presence known. Perhaps we, in bridging heaven and earth, bring our vibration to a point where we can see multiple dimensions, and that's the way that we continue to live on earth, is that not only are there people from different nations, but people from different dimensions coexisting here, and we see them and we interact, which some people already do, but this will be more commonplace. So there's a lot happening. There's this general feeling of convergence. It's all coming together. It's the heaven on earth and the peace on earth that's happening in really tangible ways.
Yeah, so the convergence really is multidimensional, and some people don't think that way or operate that way, believe that way, but for that kind of way of operating, it's still perfect. And world peace is how that would be portrayed to you. Is that world peace is upon us.
Right.
We're very close to it, and you can see if you really kind of tune in, you can see these things are happening. That gestures and motions and things in the world are moving towards that really quickly, and you could just say it's moving closer to peace, and that's true. And heaven on earth is definitely the more cosmic way of understanding it and looking at it, and it really is bringing in the outer dimensional realities and beings and us in our higher forms and selves, higher consciousness just merging, and that is part of even earlier channelings that I was getting, which is that we've already been really low in our dimensions, down to one dimension, come up to the third, we've come up into the fourth, and that's where a lot of the stuff is stirring around. And then the next is the fifth dimension, the heaven angelic realms, and we are naturally going towards that.
Right.
And it is an occurrence, and it looks like I was surprised to see that I'll be alive to see that, because I'm such a skeptic.
I'm like, you better be alive.
I'll be 95, but I'll be alive.
He'll be looking good. So one thing that I wanted to mention when we meditated before doing this video, it feels like one thing that I want to bring up is one of the challenges that people tend to face when we think about world peace or heaven on earth is we think, without realizing it, we kind of think, are we going to be bored? Is that going to be boring? Is it going to be boring to be peaceful? Because so much of what we create, even on a unconscious level, is because we really love the drama. And so one of the things that is going to be important is learning to create and learning to sustain our entertainment, our creativity and our physical enjoyment without the need for lower dimensional drama and things like that. And to be true creators means that we pull out of that drama, we empower ourselves, we recognize that there are no victims here on this earth, and we bring ourselves into full alignment with our higher self. And so that kind of sums up what we see needs to be bridged in between where we are now and world peace.
Yeah, and it couldn't possibly be boring. This is something new. I don't think that even the higher dimensions, the higher forms of ourselves and guides and angels and all the different beings that are out there I don't think anybody's ever really seen this occur before.
New.
So there's no way this would be boring, and I can tell you that connecting to the fifth dimension is far from boring.
That feels really good.
It feels more than just utopian. It feels like there's an entire exploration realm that is just waiting to be met.
And we haven't explored it.
And, so what's boring is the way we're living.
Continuing to create the same dramas over and over and over again.
And when we realize that there's so much more, it becomes refreshing, reinvigorating, kind of an awakening, or maybe a full-on awakening, and that starts to bring in all the possibility, all the tangible connection to what is possible. So,
So if you've gotten a similar vision, or if you've downloaded any sort of information about this, we totally want to hear from you. And we're all working together on this. There will be no one or no two that will be making this happen. This is the whole world. Convergence. We're all bringing it together, and we all have this beautiful individual part to play in that. So, yay! So, all right, yeah.
And if you want to read more about the channeling that I did, or I don't know if we've transcribed them. I don't know if we put them up yet. We've saved it for the video. We'll put them up. You can see more detail.
Yeah.
And then you can read the other channelings that I've had and the channelings that Allison has had. and see, and just, maybe you'll learn something from it, maybe you'll get excited by it, maybe you'll remember something that you've experienced through it and you want to share it.
Yeah.
So it'll be up on our webpage.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the comment section here.
Yeah.
So, all right, love, blessings. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.